Hello, 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 hello. I am John Beckman, Professor John Beckman, Dr. John Beckman, the father of Sid, the transgenic mother of sin, your hostess with most. Okay, by request, I was requested to have the doctor weigh in on the water fleas, so I'm going to do that here. I can't spend hours critiquing. I will spend hours critiquing on null bones, because I love that. But here I'm just going to try to do a quick critique, so I'm just going to try to maybe pick one or two water fleas from each person and just talk about potentially what you did right or did wrong. Don't take it too seriously. The first project is all just about learning the program, so I'm not really taking the water fleas too seriously. All right, so here's the first one. The first thought, quick thought, not enough lines. Not enough detail, not enough time spent in. You can make good work, good aesthetically pleasing work with minimalistic lines and content, like Picasso can do that, Hokusai can do that. But it's very tough for people starting off. So what this person needs to focus on is more attention to detail. I think they tried that with this one. They're trying to do more detail with this one. But this one, the problem is you're drawing with too tiny of a brush. It's too tiny of a brush for the canvas page. This suggests to me that you have a natural feel for painting. So I would like to see more of that moving ahead. All right, here's the next one. Same criticism, just not enough detail. You're not seeing the details. You're not trying to capture the details. So for example, this one. It's essentially this. I drew this in about 10 seconds. And you can't really tell the difference between this one and this one. So it's just like it's a matter of like putting in the effort. This one is I actually think your best, but this person just needs to focus on like spending more time. You're essentially just not making enough marks, not capturing enough detail. This is a good first assignment. You did well. Your strongest one is this one. This one has good contrast. It's got some deep blacks, some deep whites. It's got decent shading, and it's got good texture. This one's also, it's got some nice gray washes. You can actually see the molding. You did well with the gray washes. This one's extremely well done. Compositionally, it's very good. So you have good usage of negative space. So in art, negative space is like the white space that's left sort of like unfinished. And a good composition will have a proper even mixture, or it'll feel comfortable with the negative space. It'll just feel natural. The negative space will feel natural. And you've done a good job here in sort of like organizing the composition, which is hard to do. And it's very hard to do in the water flea assignment. The background textures are quite good. You're mimicking the styles, very good, although I'm not sure about the call widths. This one's kind of like, I'm not sure how, I'm not getting much Kathy Callwitz from that. This Durer one is much better than mine. Quite good. Your Frank Miller one's also very good. They're all good. This one's good. Again, this one's good. It's just, I'm not seeing much of the Kathy Callwitz. I also like the little cartoon. Very good. Very good. This one's very good. This student is no longer with us, and I'm sad to see that because the Cuban is quite good. A very effective use of gray washes and the blurry brush. Looks like a chicken embryo or something. And I dig the rakes. Like I dig the texture here. That's good texture. Here's another really stunning one. Very, very nice. Some of the things I'm going to point out on this student's work is the student is using hand-drawn text. That's very good. You'll notice I do that. It's a very good tactic because it makes the text fit in more with the composition, with the other elements of the composition. It's very rare that you're ever going to really want to actually input raw like text into a drawing, it'll look weird. But if you draw the text and write it yourself, it fits within the composition. So that was a very good decision. Also, again, just good composition here. It feels very even. It feels like the space is well utilized. I like each of the elements. They're big. That's another thing that this person did very well in sort of understanding composition. The water bears or the water fleas are not small. They're big, they're fat, and they're taking up the whole composition. So that was a very good decision. Very good. The Miller one's just outstanding. This is just frankly, it's just amazing. Frankly, Frank Miller, it's just amazing. Very good. Very good. I'm very excited to see what you come up with next. This is definitely a Cuban style. Like you got I'm sensing that from him. So I think you're really in touch with Cuban and the Miller. I'm not getting Durer from this though. I'm not sure what you were going for here. I'm not quite getting Durer. Kolowitz, I'm getting a little bit of. Hakusai, maybe a little bit of, although his lines are a little bit more elegant than this sort of like pixelated scratchiness. These two are your best. I do like this one. I do like this one. I just not getting Durer from it. I'm liking that you're adding these highlights, you're stippling over top these white highlights. It's good. You're really understanding the three-dimensional composition. That's good. It's a fantastic first assignment. These two are your best ones. These two are really good. So again, I know I said to you, I could sense that you can draw. You can draw. This one's very good, and this one's very good. These ones are a little bit weaker. These ones are weaker because there's no contrast. Like there's no contrast, there's no shape. I don't know if you just got tired. I'm also not sensing much of Durer, not sensing much of Hokusai. These I would consider like sketches. These light ones, but you just don't have enough contrast to push these to a final product. Whereas these ones, you know, the ones you most succeeded on, they have a high contrast value and they look really quite stunning. Keep it up. Very nice, very good. I'm definitely sensing the Kolowitz and I'm sensing the Miller. They're inverted here. That's good. I'm feeling that. And you got the added the wave to the Hokusai. That's very good. Good detail. These look great, and it's a good composition. It feels even. The background fits. It's nice. The text fits. Very nice. Very well done. This one's very nice. Very good composition. This is another great example of using the negative space effectively. The composition feels very balanced. It's like you get the even yin and the yang. It's very balanced. Each water flea is very good. I think this one's your best one. So if you notice the details in the I don't know if these are like antennae or what, but the details there are really adding a lot. The Kolowitz is also good. The scratchy style, you should stick with that. It's good. You're effectively demonstrating that you can understand and capture the same thing in different styles. So your potential's limitless here. Very good. I'm excited to see what you do next. I'm excited to see how you like to draw yourself when you get to pick your own style. Very good. Very good composition. You have a natural sense of how to organize the page. Very intuitive. This one is also very nice. Same thing. You have a good intuitive sense of how to organize the page. The flow around this composition, how it draws your eye from one to the other, is very nice. The hand-drawn text, it fits within the cursive handwriting. It fits within the line composition. It's very nice. So if you look at these lines, the line work here is similar to like a cursive handwriting. So it's very good. You had a very good choice of text. I definitely think these ones are your best ones, these two, because the contrast is the highest. But this one's also very charming. Like this, it feels like when I see this, I think of like a roasted chicken, like a rotisserie chicken, and I like it a lot. So I think these three are your best ones, but they're all very good. I'm not getting much Kathy Kolowitz here. I am getting Cuban here. This is good. You're understanding the style. There I'm getting a little bit of. Hokusai a little bit of. So I also think you do have a good understanding of how to visually, intuitively interpret styles. The Frank Miller one is a little bit off in terms of the style, but it's one of your best water bears. So I wouldn't criticize you too harshly for that. This is very nice. Very good work. I'm really excited to see what you do moving forward. Also, good participation in the Discord. Very nice. This one is good. The composition it feels even, but I do have one criticism. You're doing a horizon, which draws your eye back, but then you're placing water bears on a flat plane right in front of your face. So I do think there's a clash. There's a clash of like the water bears up front and then, but wanting to look back into the horizon. But on the other hand, like maybe that is what's contributing to making the piece more intriguing. So I'm not sure if that's a mistake or not, but just be aware that you did that. Be aware that you have two planes of vision. You've established the horizon, but then yet you're establishing a conflict where you're looking also like flat right in your face. So just be aware that you did that. And in the future, if you do that, make sure it was a choice. I don't know if it's bad or good. I can't tell. This is my favorite water bear. This reminds me of like Ren and Stimpy. Somebody posted that in the Discord, so maybe that primed me. But this feels like the same style as like the Ren and Stimpy cartoon. I like that one a lot. I don't get much Callwitz from it, but I get Ren and Stimpy. These ones are a bit too simple, although this one's cute. Like if you're going for cute, this is a top notch. Top notch cutie here. This one's definitely like flamboyant. It's got personality. It's like, but this one is your best one. This one's too simple. I'm not getting much Albrecht Dürer. This one's also cute. So when you learn what you're good at, you have to learn how to take that in as one of your tools, your arsenals, and like maximize that. You're very good at intuitively drawing cute things. I would push that moving forward. Also very odd, weird things. This one is quite bizarre. So hold that within your toolkit, your arsenal of things that you can do, and try to maximize that in future assignments to your advantage. Very good. Good assignment. So actually one of the ones that's most compelling is this one, in the sense of my eye is really drawn up here. And I remember your David. Your David, 5-Minute David, was also very striking. You have a natural intuitive sense of how to capture the essence with very few lines. So you're naturally talented at that. I like this one a lot. Callwitz is very good. You have a very intuitive sense of her style. You also have, look at this texture. I want to know how you did this. This is probably the best texture that I've seen for Cuban in this assignment, this background texture. You'll have to show us how you did that because it's very good, extremely good. I think your best one is the Callwitz. Moving forward, I'll be curious to see if you continue to do this sort of style, white on black. This one's a little bit weak. Durr's he's much sharper and much more keen attention to the detail. He wouldn't draw in a sketchy, sloppy way. Cuban would. So the Cuban one doesn't bother me because his style is very scratchy. But Durer is very careful, planned out. So I'm just not getting that read from this one. The Miller, you've got the style, like you're doing the techniques that he's using, but it's just not as compelling. Very good assignment though. Good. Also, very good assignment, very good first round. I think this one's my favorite. I don't read Albert Dürer on this, but I like this one. I read more Cuban in this one. I think this should be your Cuban. Although this one I do sense Cuban in this one too. I think you did 2 Cubans. I'm not getting much Callwitz here. Maybe. Here, right here, is a subtle mistake. You've drawn a bunch of these details in these, whatever these things are, but you can't see them because the background is a bit too overwhelming. Anytime you've spent the time to draw these details, I don't think you want those fading into the background. So I think there could have been a little bit more of a clever mixture of the background here to draw out those details. In a similar sense, in here, you've captured the details very well. This part of the composition feels very interesting because it's the high contrast and I'm able to see the individual marks that you've made. And I like those. Whereas here, I can't see those individual marks that you've made. And that detracts from this water flea's attractiveness. Very good, though. You have a natural talent. Keep going. This one's cute. Your Miller and your Colwitz are on point. Your Cuban feels on point as well, although Cuban is a little bit more sadistic and mean. This is a little bit too cutesy. So I think you also have an intuitive sense of you like to draw cute. It feels to me like you have a natural sense you like to draw cute things. And you can use that to your advantage, but also don't let it become a crutch. Don't let it become a weakness. When you notice that somebody's style is particularly a little bit more mean-natured, you need to learn how to capture that meanness as opposed to making things cute. But this is a strong first assignment. Good. Really good composition, really good use of the canvas, the page, the negative space. The text is on. I think this one is your best one. These two at the top are extremely good. They're high contrast. You feel like it's very deep. It's drawing you to look at that. It's interestingly balanced out. I actually really like your hokusai. It's a little bit more abstract. I like that. This is an effective usage of that. Miller is on point. That's good. I like these, like they look like ice crystals. Very good. Very good. I think we both agree this is definitely your best one. This one sort of like stands alone. It's far better than all your others. And it could hold the composition by itself. So I almost feel as if because of the assignment, because of the rules of the assignment, it's detracting from the piece. Like having your other water fleas is detracting from really what this is sort of like hogging the attention because it's so good. So you did a great job with that one. I also think like the Miller and the Colwitz, you're definitely capturing the style. That's very good. The Dur and the Hokusai feel a bit more off. I'm not getting as much read on them. I also think the text in this is very distracting. I don't like the different typefaces. I don't like the choices that you chose. I would have much preferred a handwritten text to make it a bit more consistent. The last thing I think you want to do is clutter your image with different typefaces. But you have talent. Like this is demonstrating to me that you have talent. However, and these ones too, like you can see and you can judge what's being done. So continue to push it, continue to get better. Very good. So I know we talked about this a little bit. I think you have a great usage of gray wash and shadows. You're demonstrating very well that you can do gray wash, shadows. But I think this is another one where I think there's a conflict. There's a conflict in a sense that you've drawn very well molded, well sculpted droplets. Okay. Very well sculpted droplets. And then you have sort of like water fleas stacked on top in a flat plane of a well sculpted droplet. So there's a clash here in a sense of you've got the plane that's three-dimensional, and then you have a flat plane where you're doing the water bears. They occupy that plane, and then you're just sort of like stuffing those on top. So if you're going to do something like this, you have to draw the water fleas in a three-dimensional way that sculpts them with the background. So I think how this happened is you've drawn the water fleas, and then afterward, you tried to figure out how to arrange the composition, and you added the three-dimensional water droplets probably after you had finished the water fleas. Rather than the better decision would be to think about the composition beforehand and then mold the water fleas as if they were truly within that three-dimensional space of the water droplets, as opposed to just stacked on top. In terms of the actual detail of the water fleas, they're good. This is a good first assignment. You're doing good. You can draw. You can see the detail. You're adding enough detail. Frank Miller, I think you need thicker whites. The Durr, I think you need some harsher lines and more careful detail. I think this one is your best one. Good first assignment. Keep it up. This one, I think you did good in a sense. You learned the program, you got through it. You did all the assignment. You got one in the style of Kollwitz. You got one in Hokusai. Cuban feels close. Durr feels close. Not Durer. Miller's a little bit off. I see that you're effectively using Photoshop and that you've drawn one and you flipped it. I think that's a plus for me because I'm seeing that you understand the tools. That's good. That's a good thing. Compositionally, I think it's weak. I think you need to focus more on organizing the composition. It feels a little bit awkward. One of the things when you turn this in, the page is like this. So you've kind of like stuffed these three elements just sort of like arbitrarily in the top left quadrant of the page. So that's a terrible usage of negative space. You need to think more about your composition so that the way that you arrange things doesn't detract from what you've drawn. Your Kollwitz is very good, though. I like the Kollwitz one. Think about composition in the future. The sense is that it feels rushed. It feels like you're just trying to get it done. One thing that's weird about this one is these four occupy the same universe, and then this one is just stuck, pasted. It's like somebody copy-pasted it and stuck the square right on top. So your Miller one is not fitting within the composition. It's hard to do. It's hard to figure out, well, how do you blend like a black background into like a gray background? I get it. It's tough to do. But the last thing you want to do is have just sort of like an arbitrary block square that literally looks like you took something, copy pasted it. You don't want to do that. The other thing is you have good choice of text for the 4, and then you switch to like this weird blocky text for the Miller, which is again, like it just contributes to the idea that this is from some other universe. The whole composition suffers because this thing is here. You should literally just take this layer and delete it, and the composition would be better. So be careful about, this is the noob mistake of taking things from different universes and plopping them together. The key to composition is you have to make it blend and feel all together, unless you're setting up on purpose some sort of weird conflict. But good first assignment, keep it up. All right, compositionally, this one is very good, but you made one big mistake. And the one big mistake is this water fleas text. It doesn't feel natural. And the other text you have, you did make a good choice. The other text you have, you've handwritten, and it feels like it fits within that water flea. This feels artificial, and this is detracting from your entire piece. All you would have to do is either, what I often do is if I get the text arranged how I want it, I'll trace it with my hand, kind of something like this. And sometimes that will make it feel better if you choose the right font. Although I like that you're demonstrating to me that you know how to warp the text. You're using Photoshop tools effectively, so that's good. But just be careful with this. Like, this is detracting from your piece. Your use of the sort of like the flow of these stipples, that's good. You're effectively sort of blending the black background with the white background through usage of these stipples. That's good, it's clever, it's effective. Your water bears are good. I think your weakest one is the Cuban, because you can't, I said this to somebody before, if you have something that's like a perfect geometrical structure, you can't half-ass and draw, like hand draw those structures. It'll look really awkward. So I think this sort of like hand drawing these geometrical, geodesic like shapes feels awkward. I would try to paint this rather than draw it. Kollwitz feels on point. Miller feels a little bit more like the Kollwitz, not as many fat white blocks. Durer, not Drewer, Durer feels pretty close. Hokusai is a good attempt. The Cuban is the most awkward one. Your best one is the Miller or the Kollwitz or the Hokusai. This one's interesting, these swirls. Good composition, but you can improve. This one is a good composition. This is good. you have a scratchy style, but it feels good. It feels right. The Colwitz is on point. The Cuban is on point. The Hokusai is really awkward. The Miller is really awkward. Durer is like these three, you're not understanding their style at all. It's not that I don't like them. I actually like these. Like these are actually like quite appealing to me. They're very cartoonish. I like them. I don't like the Hokusai one. I like all these four. And you've blended the background and you've figured out a way to make the composition work. So that's good. But you're not really understanding the style of Durer, Miller, and Hokusai, like what they're doing. So I would just focus on paying attention to how people are making marks and develop that intuitiveness in your brain. You have talent, you have a natural sort of like, don't underestimate yourself in terms of like what you're doing, because this is actually quite compelling. All my attention is drawn to this awkward water flea, and I like it. So you have sort of an intuitive sense of how to draw cool things. Don't underestimate yourself. Here's mine. I think my styles are pretty on point, but the only one I like is the Cuban. The Cuban I did really good on. Composition's okay. I hate my Miller. It looks terrible. I hate my Hokusai. It looks terrible. The Colwitz is okay. It's kind of cute. The Durer is I don't think I did quite enough detail. I didn't quite do it. I think I have too thick lines, but it does kind of feel like one of Durer's woodcuts. So it's okay. The Cuban is definitely my best one. I need to improve. I will work on improving. The end. Have a good day.